Now let's look ahead to the Cavaliers and the Bulls, and we send it out to Richfield Coliseum, and Dick Enberg has a preview. Dick?
All right, Bob, the fans here in Cleveland at the Richfield Coliseum hoping that home court that is held up throughout this second round of the playoffs proves true to them as they look for a much-needed win today. But the focus is on the Bulls superstar, Michael Jordan. As you know, he is here. He wants to play. He's warmed up. He did not, in the early shoot-around, shoot anything farther than 15 feet. He said he'll also be bothered on defense, reaching in. You'll have to remember to only use the left hand. But Coach Phil Jackson of the Bulls says in the past, whenever Jordan hasn't been 100%, his team has played very well anyway.
Many times we've played better when he's been a step behind. Guys have assumed more. He's been more of a playmaker, perhaps taking the role of not being so much of a scorer. So I can't assume what's going to happen today. I know that he's going to be tentative about his shot. He'll wait for other people to get and lead in the scoring end of it, and he'll be the playmaker and the defender. But I have an anticipation that, he's going to play very, very well. He does not like coming into the Coliseum where they boo him very roundly and soundly here and playing in front of these fans without giving them something to do it for.
Well, he's already heard the first round of boos, Quinn. With a 2-game lead, I wonder if Chicago thought at all about resting Jordan's wrist today.
Well, I don't think Phil Jackson has ever thought about resting Michael Jordan. And I know as I spoke to Michael last night, he feels that they can get this game. Obviously, you have a better chance of shutting out Cleveland in terms of their win. But most importantly, they even look at what's going on in the New York-Charlotte series. They don't want New York to get an extra day's rest. So if Chicago can win this one and Michael can be effective, that's what they really want to have in this afternoon's contest.
And no doubt here in Cleveland, the Bulls win this one, and Cleveland's season is gone. Now back to New York and Bob Costas.
All right, Dick and Quinn will rejoin you shortly for the call of the game. Quick thought, Bill?
Injured players focus in more closely on the game at hand. Michael Jordan in that situation today. A real big key for Chicago has been their defense. B.J. Armstrong denying Mark Price the ball. The big guys for Cleveland have to come up and handle. Very difficult for Cleveland to get into their set offense, their strength.
If I were the Cavaliers, I'd be wondering if Gerald Wilkins is going to start resting his mouth. If I were Gerald Wilkins, instead of devising ways to maybe rag his Michael Jordan's ligaments or something, what he might be planning today, I'd be thinking about asking Michael if he wants me to carry his clubs after the game or something out on the golf course. He's supposed to be nice to this guy.
Well, on that note, off to the commercial. You sort of caught me by surprise. I thought you had more to say. Just send it to the commercial. Go ahead.
All
Look
right.
that way. Go, just do it.
All right. And now to our commercial.
Oh, nice.
I don't have your cue card.
We'll be back.
They are the team, the ultimate opponent that haunts you, consumes you, shattering playoff dreams. Your Cleveland, their Chicago, your biggest obstacle, your fiercest rival, but to them, you're just another team, just another step to repeating the title. Their success exaggerates your failure, their dreams, your nightmare, the team that continues to haunt you. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! This year it was going to be different. After all, you won the season series. Then in Game 1, it happened again. The failure, the doubt. Game 2, hauntingly familiar. While they dominated and celebrated, you struggled. Their fight, your frustration. Their reality, your impossible dream to be what the Bulls are, NBA champions.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1993 NBA playoffs. Today, it's the Chicago Bulls versus the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Beautiful spring day and the lilacs in bloom outside the Richfield Coliseum. But for the fortunes of the Cavaliers, not quite as bright and glorious thus far in this playoff series with the Bulls. Chicago dominating the first two games, although the Cavs were only down by one at halftime of Game 1. Game 2, thoroughly flogged by Chicago's defense and offense, and they return home, hoping this home crowd will help spur them to victory in Game 3. An obvious point for them if they are to continue with any hopes in this series. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Enberg, along with Quinn Buckner, and the big story, of course, is Michael Jordan. Jordan aggravating that right wrist injury in Game 2. As you know by now, he will play.
Well, he not only will play, the question has to be, though, how effective will he be in terms of his shooting? I don't think he can shoot the ball, as you said, Dick, more than 15 feet from the basket. What happens with the rest of the team is important. Who supports him? Scottie Pippen has been known to do that, as well as Horace Grant. You see, Michael gets 31% of their points. Between Pippen and Grant, they get 31%. Of course, B.J. Armstrong will be in the mix. Michael has got to be a little more concerned about how to fit in with his team today. I don't think he can afford to try to be the star, because I think he hurts his team the way he feels today.
But it does add a nice mystery and drama to this game. How well will the Bulls play with an injured superstar? Well, let's go to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Their intensity has been questioned at this point.
Well, I think with good reason. The first two games, I thought they were flat. There may be a number of reasons for it, but one of the things that happened to them for sure is on the defensive end, as far as Chicago was concerned, they double team at every given moment. The two players you're always concerned about is the guy with the ball, Mark Price, going off the double team. He gets doubled right there. Brad Daugherty, their other all-star, gets the ball on the block, and the double team takes him away. Michael Jordan coming up with the ball. Chicago Bulls push it up and get the finish. Michael Jordan for the fast break layup. That's how the Bulls took the Cavs out of the game. The Cavs must do a better job of releasing the pressure of the double team from both Daugherty and Mark Price. They must make themselves available to have any chance to win this game.
Well, the crowd getting into it now. The Bulls, who lead all playoff teams in scoring, and yet at the same time playing the kind of defense that wins championships. And they have limited the big three of the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers, all all-stars, Daugherty, along with Mark Price and Nance, have 14 less points in the playoffs than their average on the regular season. So for Cleveland, and even in the press and the fans, it's been somewhat negative. And on that note, more bad news for Cleveland. Let's go to Hannah Storm.
Dick, certainly with Mark Price running into those double teams that Quinn was referring to, one player who's considered very important for the Cavaliers as they try to beat Chicago's breast is Terrell Brandon. He's been the backup point guard for Mark Price for 2 years, never missed a game because of injury, but unfortunately for the Cavaliers, he will not be able to play this afternoon. He sprained his left ankle in Game 2, and although x-rays were negative yesterday and he was trying to walk without crutches, Brandon is simply too sore to play. So the question becomes now, who will the Cavaliers' backup point guard be? Well, Craig Elo got the call when Brandon went down in Game 2. John Battle's also on the bench, but as he said in the paper this morning, no matter what happens, I don't think this team has any faith in me. It'll be interesting to see who gets some minutes back there. Dick?
Thank you, Hannah. And the focal point of any NBA game, and especially this one, the condition of the super player, Michael Jordan. His airness, how strong will that wrist be? Every home team has won in the second round of the playoffs, and so the Cavaliers may gain some hope from that recent history. And let's take a look now at the starting lineups, and a change made by Lenny Wilkins of Cleveland as he goes with the former New York Knick Gerald Wilkins at forward. He replaces Mike Sanders. It'll be Pippen and Wilkins, Grant and Nance matched up. A couple of all-stars, Cartwright and Daugherty. In the middle, Cartwright, the veteran, has done a good job with double-team help against Daugherty, the leading scorer of Cleveland. Michael Jordan, Elo is tough from outside. B.J. Armstrong, the best three-point shooter percentage-wise in the NBA this year against Mark Price, one of the best pure shooters in the game. The erudite headmaster of the Chicago Bulls, Phil Jackson, 11 years in New York. He has a championship ring as a Knick, has also coached in the CBA and championship team, and of course the Bulls to the last two NBA titles. His counterpart, the second winningest coach in NBA history, second only to the immortal Arnold Red Auerbach. Lenny Wilkins has sat aside Chuck Daly along the bench in Barcelona as one of the assistants to the Dream Team in the 1992 Olympic gold medal success. Cavaliers must game against a very relaxed, confident Chicago Bulls.
Well, Dick, they've got to be confident if you're the Bulls, because you played so well and just been so dominating on the defensive end. I think it's so important for Cleveland at the start to get the fans involved in the game, because once they do that, that's a little bit of the added inspiration that Cleveland has missed somewhat on the road.
Officials, Daryl Geraldson, Collins, and Forte.
The other thing, the lineup change. I think Gerald Wilkins is in the lineup because he's the one guy that always plays with inspiration, and Lenny Wilkins doesn't want to take a chance of getting off to a slow start, having Wilkins on the bench.
Adds a little extra toughness to this opening lineup.
He is the toughest person, I think, in their lineup, on their team.
Mark Price, partially blocked by Armstrong and controlled by Cartwright. Pippen ahead to Armstrong. And the Bulls score quickly.
Keyed off their defense, staying up on Mark Price, forcing him to take a tough shot.
Part of the problem in the first two games, the Cavaliers took so much time getting the ball into the offensive end because of the Chicago pressure that they weren't able to set up their pass patterns. It's the team that likes to pass. They led the league in assists. Elo, it won't drop it. Larry Nance comes out with the offensive rebound. And Nance fires.
Nance has got to be active, but I tell you, the one guy I think needs to play in the game big is Brad Daugherty. He's one of the best passing big men in the game, and the double team has really taken that away from Cleveland. Saw Michael Jordan as he caught the ball. He grimaced as he caught the ball, so he's obviously in significant pain.
Cartwright kind of rolling that ball through his hands before almost feeling the dice before he takes the shot, and it's 4-2. And the help from Grant, and Daugherty hits his first shot. It's tied at 4.
It looks like they've changed it up, Dick. They run the double team at Daugherty different ways. Sometimes they run it on the catch, sometimes on the dribble. That time they waited until he took 2 dribbles to run the double team before he had a chance to score.
You can see again Jordan wincing as he received the pass. Scottie Pippen, and the bump by Nance. Let's go back to how the Bulls are defensing Daugherty.
You see right here, he'll put it on the floor. Nobody moves, but as soon as he gets ready to make the next dribble, Grant is there. That's a difficult shot to make. Obviously, Daugherty a little better prepared to take that shot. But you can't make that one all day because you don't have control of the ball well enough.
Scottie Pippen. Daugherty with a rebound. Nance over Grant. 2 in a row. All right, Michael Jordan with the ball with that injured wrist. You were a defender. How would you attack? Would you be a little rougher on him?
Oh, there's no question about it. If the guy's got an injury, whether it's his hand, his arm, or whatever, I'm going to attack him to find out whether or not he can be effective with it. And that's the one thing I think Cleveland's got to think about doing in some way. And if I get a chance to hit him on it to test it, I got to do that too, Dick. Every now and then you need to hit him on it.
Can't treat him like a crystal glass just because he has the injury.
No, he's tough enough to guard as it is.
Price turns it over. Pippen on a 3-3 break. Scottie Pippen. And Chicago back in about 8-6. 4 points for Pippen.
As important, I think, as the defense of Chicago has been the first 2 games, it's much more important with Michael Jordan not being as effective offensively, because you got to get some points out of your defense.
Nance inside to Daugherty. Tips on his missed shot. It's tied at 8. 4 for Daugherty. Well, this Cleveland crowd stunned by the losses in Chicago, and this is the quietest playoff crowd that we've encountered so far this year. Elo with a rebound. You wonder if they believe.
There is a cautious optimism, I think, with the Cleveland crowd.
That'll help. Elo with a 3.
Big part missing from the Cavaliers has been their 3-point shooting.
Cartwright. Rebound to Nance.
That's a good shot. You'd wonder why you throw Brad Daugherty the ball out there. That's a good shot because one of the problems is the Bulls can't run out and double team him nearly as easy when he takes that little shot, and he's capable of making it.
Going Jordan as soon as he gets the ball. Michael has not taken a shot yet. 7:45 left in the first quarter. Pippen over Wilkins uses the glass. 11-10 in Cleveland.
And Pippen coming out aggressive offensively. Having either Elo or Wilkins on him. He's trying to take him at every opportunity.
Price dishes off to Nance. Good play. Basket is good. Nance now with 6 points.
Now you know why you have to double team Mark Price, because if you let him get into the teeth of your defense, he makes too many things happen. Right here, catching Larry Nance to the basket. Horace Grant getting over late. Larry Nance for the finish.
Grant with a foul. What a game in Chicago 2 nights ago, with 8 for 8 from the floor and 4 for 4 from the line with a man who said he's only 85% because of a sprained ankle.
You know, it's funny. Injuries can affect you a couple ways. You can either baby yourself or come out and play. I contend most of the time people come and they forget about a little bit of the game and they just play because their injury has been a problem for them.
Bulls down by 4 on this trip. Cartwright having troubles and Wilkins knocks it away. A 3 from the right.
Oh. They got Michael Jordan for a foul underneath.
Pushing Elo out of the way.
You know Mark Price is going to come take a shot, but you see Elo's got inside position, and Michael tries to push him. So he gets a little bit of a foul right there. Michael Jordan had started off the court because he thought there was a timeout that had been called.
Cleveland leads by 4. Nearly 5 minutes gone in this game 3. And down goes Elo. And another Bulls foul. This time on B.J. Armstrong, trying to fight his way through a screen.
But I'm seeing a little different spirit. Watch the pick. The pick moved. See, that pick moved. And the official never caught the move, and B.J. just ran through it. But I got to say, for Cleveland, you got to give them the question spirit is a lot better in this game than it was in the first 2. On the out-of-bounds line.
Elo, as he braced to make his move, touched out of bounds. 6:52 left in the opening period. Welcome back. The talk in Cleveland. Where's the inspiration? Where's the leadership? So we asked Craig Elo in that clubhouse, is there a player who will take charge, be vocal?
It's a little out of character. We don't really have a vocal leader. Most of our guys lead by example on the court. But someone is definitely going to have to step up because, you know, our backs are on the wall right now, and we're going to have somebody step up vocally. Brad can do it if he wants to, and hopefully he will.
Brad Daugherty, but it's not his character to be loud, is it?
I got to tell you, I got a little bit of a problem when you say somebody's got to do it. It's a little bit like playing in a game and there's a loose ball and you're saying somebody's got to get it. If it's got to be done, step up and do it. Don't wait on somebody else to do it. So I think that's a little bit of what Cleveland is bound with. They have non-vocal leaders, but there's nobody that's being active and taking the role.
Somebody to get in the face of your own teammates and say, hey, grab him by his shirt. We got to do it here.
Yeah, this is our only choice.
14-12 as Pippen slams in his 8th point. There's no question, but Scottie Pippen is the man who's going to step up for the Bulls today. That Michael Jordan is going to play a more passive role offensively, and Pippen's going to have to be more aggressive.
Well, I'm sure by now, Scottie, having been a part of the Dream Team, has learned one thing, that he is in that position because of his ability to play. He's got to step up and make plays like this all afternoon because Michael can't do it. You see him right there, just get by Elo, and Brad Daugherty couldn't get over because he was occupied with Bill Cartwright, who just put a body on it. But Scottie needs to be the one to pick it up on the offensive end.
Cartwright with his foul, and that's 4 now team fouls on the Bulls here in the first quarter. Only 1 called against Cleveland. 6 minutes remaining. Opening period, and the hometown Cavs lead by 2. Price has had some cold shooting in this series and the playoffs. It's off Jordan to Cleveland. Price playing with a thumb injury since March, and there's no question but what that's affected his shooting success.
Well, I tell you, it's affected his success more so, I think, on his three-point shooting, where he's normally a 41% shooter. He's like 23 now because you got to use so much more of your thumb to get the ball elevated when you shoot that far away from the basket.
Nance tripping out of bounds to Chicago.
I have never seen anybody trip like that before.
Kind of stepped on his own foot. Jordan with Wilkins, using the left hand, as you know. His first shot is short. Wilkins might have gotten a piece of it.
Well, he did. You know, Dick, what looks to be the problem is it looks like the snap and the follow-through isn't there because he just didn't get a chance to get that one up high enough to get it over Wilkins. Off a pick and roll, if you don't double-team Mark Price, you give him a chance to make plays like that. That's why normally the Bulls have double-teamed Mark Price.
Jordan, an aggressive move and hit the left hand. Jordan just playing left-handed still might be as good as most.
A whole lot of us will be playing with two good hands. Got to shoot it.
Wilkins, high off the glass.
You got to call that, Gerald. Off the bank, you got to call that one.
Looked like a hamburger commercial, didn't it?
Off the side of the scoreboard, bank. No rim. Lob.
Jordan. And he's fouled by Wilkins. Now, just because he has that injured wrist, if you're Cleveland, you can't ignore him.
No, he's going to make himself be a factor in some way. But you see right here, he'll take the ball to the back and just move it away from Larry Nance. But you get so concerned about him coming to the ball. And he was going to the ball, and then right here, Gerald Wilkins. Now, that's actually a good foul because you don't want Michael to get a dunk or anything like that. And you can see the stroke on the foul shot is better. But it's a better foul than letting him get the easy basket. Make him work that wrist.
Jordan, who scored 18 in Game 2 with the injury. That ended a streak of 59 straight playoff games where he had 20 or more points. He has 4 today.
You notice the Bulls right now have not put any full court pressure on the Cavaliers. They're going to save it. They are trapping them.
Elo for 2. And the Cavs open a 4-point edge. Grant knocked away by Wilkins. Jordan picks up the loose ball and way over the top.
Still making adjustments with the hand, Dick.
And Jordan rebounding. No lack of aggression there. Pippen throws it away, but Elo can't control.
Well, you know, when you've got a sore hand, the problem is he doesn't snap. See, his hand really doesn't snap down on that shot. And that's when it tends to loft. If you don't, in your rotation, if you don't snap down to it to control it, it'll just loft, and that's what happened on Michael's shot.
Wilkins, who was acquired as a free agent, the ex-Knick, to defend Jordan, transfers his points, and it's a 2-point game. And Wilkins took a lot of heat in Chicago, maybe misquoted or misunderstood, or Jordan himself starting the idea that nobody's a Jordan stopper. And Wilkins said, I never said I was.
You don't wake a sleeping giant.
Time out.
Well, you know Michael Jordan has a little strength. You see right there, he tries to get free by pushing Gerald Wilkins. I talked about him not having snap. This time it came. Watch, he snaps through that one, but he wasn't expecting that snap because when his hand is sore, he's saying he can't snap. That one particular time, he got it to snap. And if you remember, the first 2 shots he missed, they were short.
That one was way long.
And that one was way long because he got his hand to snap through it, and he just hadn't made the mental adjustment that it was capable of doing that without pain.
3:25 left in the opening period, and Cleveland with the ball and a 2-point lead, 2018. Pippen, all-NBA defense against Elo. They run it Price again. And Price misses the run. Good rebound, Larry Nance.
Give yourself some second opportunities. That's why they have Larry Nance out there. This time they went right away at him.
Nance through Jordan, and Larry Nance has 9 points to lead the Cavs.
Cartwright went right away, and that's how Nance just takes the ball down the middle with Brad Torrey getting double teamed. I'm watching Cleveland play defense. They are much more aggressive on cuts now. When the Bulls make cuts, they're putting a shoulder in or a body or just keeping people from making unobstructed cuts.
Nance got the deflection. And Nance slow coming into the offensive end. Doherty, that's his shot. Doesn't drop. But he was in close.
He's in position, and they got the ball to him. And if you can get it to him quickly and he can make the quick turn, there's no chance for the defense to double team.
Jordan.
Oh, and that rotation was there. Look at the little adrenaline flowing here now.
6 points for Michael.
2 minutes.
Wilkins working hard, finally to Price. Elo for 3. How did that not go in? Nance with 4 rebounds. This is Pippen, and it's a 4-1 Chicago break. Michael.
Oh, misses the slam. Well, he missed the slam because Craig Elo took his foot from him.
And Doherty scores at the other end. 8 points for him. Watch Jordan now. He's upset.
A little taste of their old medicine, a double team and throw the ball away.
Doherty, he's got 8 points today. He had only 8 the whole game. Game 2 in Chicago. Armstrong to Pippen, wide open.
And that was an excellent pass. He hit it right over the head of Mark Price, who didn't have any chance to get a hand on it.
Final minute of the first quarter, the Cleveland Cavaliers by a basket. 10 points now for Pippen to lead all scorers.
Going to go right down to Doherty. Defense is starting to come a long way to get over for the double team.
That'll be on Cartwright.
You worry about Michael missing the dunk. One thing, Michael is probably a little concerned about his hand, but watch Elo. You didn't see it from there. He hit his right leg and takes it away from him. And any guy is going to protect himself. You'll see it right here. See, he hit his right leg. There's no question. You can tell the way Michael has ended up turned away from the basket, and you see him look at the official to try to get a call.
Stacey King comes in for the Bulls, replacing Cartwright. Cartwright with 2 fouls. And Mike Sanders, who had been starting, replaces Wilkins. No, Wilkins stays in. It's Mark Price that takes a breather.
What they get when the Bulls bring in, you look at Stacey King, that's one of the things not many people can do. They bring in like 3, almost 4, 6'10" guys that you do in the course of a game. That's the other thing that just wears Brad Doherty down. He gets these big bodies all day long.
Down to the final seconds of this first period.
Oh, good
inside to Grant. Oh, misses the shot. Doherty rebound.
I mean, their finds have just been incredible on the part of the Bulls. Ball was there, and he just lost it.
Cleveland with a chance for the last shot with the 3-point lead.
See, now, with this lineup, particularly with Stacey King, they bring in Scottie Williams. One thing they have is when there's a pick and roll, they can double team better because both King and Williams are much more agile than Cartwright.
4.1 seconds left in the quarter. Phil Jackson was trying to get Trent Tucker in, but no luck.
Got to shoot it.
Wilkins for 3. That awakens him up there in the luxury suites. Some life in Cleveland yet. It's 28-22 after 1. Gerald Wilkins, he was 16 for 58 regular season outside the line, and that one dead center at the buzzer.
One of the reasons they brought him here is because of his spirit. And you can see that right there, somewhat indicative of the kind of spirit they want to have on this team. Somebody that just wants to compete all day long.
That'll please brother Dominique watching in Atlanta. Said he's going to come to Cleveland and cheer for you. He said, well, he came to New York to cheer for me.
So I don't think he's going to make it to Cleveland.
28-22 as we open the second quarter. Dick Enberg with Quinn Buckner and Hannah Storm. Scottie Pippen left alone, and Pippen throws it. 12 points for Pippen.
This lineup, because Terrell playing, even though they play Craig Elo, this lineup takes a long time to get the ball down court, up court.
Scottie Williams makes the block. Michael Jordan is on the bench. Trent Tucker in. Scott Williams. Pippen!
I mean, from the three-point line, I could see nobody was getting over there to cut him off.
His eyes look like one of those drag racing lights, you know, it goes green, green, green,
those
green,
Christmas tree, and it just lit up.
Or red, 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 green, I guess is what it was. Back to a two-point game. Cleveland rebounding Chicago in the first quarter. Rod Williams unable to hit. Doherty over the back of Stacey King.
And Brad Doherty is complaining about that. From right here, right now, you'll see this dribble after this. Right, one dribble, he sees it's wide open, and there's no chance for anybody to get over there and dunk that. Scottie obviously taking the offensive aggressive stance here for the Bulls.
Who says humans don't have a change of gears? He just put that one in overdrive.
I'll tell you, you don't get to see the middle of the court open up very often, and when you do, you got to take advantage of it.
Pippen's the only Bull on the floor with any points scored in this game. Stacey King unable to connect. Doherty with another rebound. Here comes Wilkins.
Well done. That's what they haven't been doing. You got to attack the basket, and Gerald Wilkins has been attacking it as well as the entire Cavs for the most part in terms of rebounding. You got to win this. Nobody's going to give you a championship.
That was a play remindful of brother Dominique, and he says he talks to him at least weekly and gets advice.
Well, here, watch. He challenges Scottie. Make Pippen make a play. And you see Scottie takes the reach for it. And Gerald Wilkins, who's probably the most apt player on this team to get in somebody's face. You know, in New York, you know, you got Charles Oakley, you got Patrick that would do that. And so if anything, that's where Wilkins would learn to be that kind of aggressive personality.
Pippen looking for his 15th point. Doherty picked up the foul, his second. Mark Price back in, and Elo taken out by Lenny Wilkins. (30-27) Cleveland. 10 minutes to go in the half. Price to Mike Sanders. Wilkins unable to bat home the rebound. Here come the red shirts.
Somebody better find Scottie Pippen.
Doherty now with 6 rebounds. Brad, who led Cleveland with 10+ on the season. Wilkins for 3. Pippen.
That's ball movement is hard to beat there. They missed a shot. They can play it as well as they can play, but that ball movement is hard to beat.
9:22 left in the first half. It's Cleveland by 3. Downtown Cleveland, they're building a new ballpark, a new stadium for the Cavaliers, and someday they'll be building a monument for this man, Michael Jordan, somewhere in Chicago. Jordan was voted the top defensive player by the NBA coaches this past week, and second behind Hakeem Olajuwon by the sportscasters and sports writers. We asked him who he's going to vote for MVP. He said, I got to give it to Olajuwon.
Well, Olajuwon has undoubtedly had a great second half of the season. So Mark Price pushed the ball up the court.
That's his first basket. They need him to shoot well.
One of the reasons they can get him to shoot well is just have him push the ball up the court like that. And as long as Chicago doesn't double team, that's what made the guy an all-star. So the question becomes, is Chicago not double teaming because they want to save it until they need it? And I think that's what they're doing.
Wilkins harassing Tucker with 3. It's Scott Williams and another rebound. John Hot Rod Williams to Price.
And and it's a little more of an attitude with Price. You got to give him some credit, too.
Mark Price had a big all-star game in Salt Lake and won the long-distance shootout. Tucker lines one in there, his first points.
You know, one of the things that I would have wanted, we asked Lenny Wilkins about, was whether or not going 5 games with New Jersey kind of zapped this team a little bit of their energy when they played the Chicago Bulls. And he admitted that it had definitely done it in the first game and thought to some degree it did in the second game. And by the way they're playing, it looks as though they've got a little bit of that back being here at home.
Wilkins taking it inside and draws the foul.
Again, best passing big man in the game, bar none, is Brad Daugherty. You've got to take advantage of it, and the way you do it is what Gerald Wilkins did. When the guy gets the ball, you've got to move because Brad Daugherty can get the ball to you.
Scott Williams with the foul, his first. Wilkins looking for his 8th point. Talking about the fire, and Wilkins yesterday, I asked him, which Nick would you like to bring over here to give that kind of inspiration? He didn't hesitate. He said, Charles Oakley would really help this.
Well, you know what, when you talk about what kind of play he'd like to have, what you want in that position is a fearless competitor who doesn't care about anything but the team winning and will get in your face, and you know by his integrity of his wanting to win that all he's going to do is what's in the best interest of the team.
Here come the Cavs, 3-on-2. Sanders to Price, 3 in a row.
That's a layup.
3 straight shots hit by Mark Price. Biggest lead for Cleveland is 9-10.
That's not a shot Paxson can make.
King with a push-off.
That's not a shot Paxson can make. He's a guy that has to catch the ball to shoot it. When he's trying to beat you off the dribble, that's just not what he does. When you talk about being aggressive, you see right now, what are the numbers? What do I have in front of me? Michael Jordan trying to cover 2 players. Mark Price is not the guy you want to leave open. Knocks down the jumper.
Well, Mark Price inspiring his teammates and this crowd. 3 in a row for the All-Star and former Georgia Tech star. And it's a 10-point Cleveland lead. Welcome back. Cavaliers by 10. And following up on your remark, Twin, Coach Lenny Wilkins had this to say about the impact of the 5-game Jersey series.
Since towards the end of the season, we haven't played as consistently as I would like us to play. I don't know why. We're not, I don't see the fire that I saw a year ago, not on a consistent basis. And when you're in playoffs, you have to be consistent.
Wilkins, as we talked to him yesterday, looked as if he just heard from the executioner. He was not a happy coach at all and concerned that somewhere he would find that fire and intensity in his team and seemed frustrated by the fact that, hey, I can't do everything. Someone's going to have to step up in the locker room.
Well, and I understand that frustration somewhat. Some people would say the coach needs to make that happen. I just think it's got to happen from somebody on the team. I tend to think that those things are better received when they come from the player, but at times coaches have to be able to try to create that energy as well. And in Lenny's case, he felt he'd given the team all they had, and through the course of the season, they just hadn't been as consistent, and for that reason, he didn't know it, why they didn't have it. I still contend, going through New Jersey, they didn't think that New Jersey was going to take them to 5 games, and it took a lot out of them to have to play that 5th game, because by the time you get to a 5th game, a team like New Jersey had all 3 of its best players playing well.
Mark Price getting 3 in a row in this quarter to spark the Cavs to their 10-point lead.
And this time out, the Bulls are much more aggressive.
Nance.
That's a great catch. Great catch.
And catch as Nance outfought 3 Bulls for it. 12 points the lead, the biggest enjoyed by Cleveland. Cavs in a 10-0 run.
Well, as much as anything, you can talk about the loss of Michael Jordan. We're looking at 6 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the game. They have 29 points.
And Jordan goes left that time.
And Michael can have 29 points in the previous 18 minutes in some games.
8 points today. three-pointer for Elo. 8 for him. He's got a couple of trays. Jordan at the other end. Does it count? Yes.
Now, oddly enough, Lenny Wilkins just told Elo to force him to his right because he's got the bad hand, and Craig Elo forced him to his right, and he ended up making the shot. You see Larry Nance right here grabbing the ball.
Jordan answering at the other end, and Elo with a foul. Michael looking for his 11th point. Scottie Williams gives him a chance for the 4-point play, and it won't drop.
That's aggressive play on the part of Mark Price. He forced that play. You got to force the officials to make calls at some point, and that's what Mark Price did. Now, he'll take a little head and shoulder fake, and he'll go, now watch. Now, right here, he sees an opening, and he's going to try to get through there and then make a play, and that way you force the official to make some kind of call, either call the charge or call the foul.
Pippen got the foul, his first. Cleveland has hit 6 in a row. Horace Grant back in for the rebound. Pippen with Armstrong ahead. All the starters back for Chicago with the exception of Cartwright. Scott Williams playing in that spot. B.J. Armstrong.
What B.J. Armstrong is starting to do now is jump up on Mark Price after makes, because, again, trying to keep the ball out of his hand. No, they're going to call it on Williams. No, that's on Williams. There's no doubt. That's a good call.
He moved into Armstrong and setting up the pick.
You'll see right here. Now watch Williams step into him. See, he stepped into him. There's no doubt. And the officials were right on it.
That works in the Stanley Cup, but not here in the NBA.
No, you got to stand still and let the guy with the ball, who's Mark Price, force the action into you.
Williams with a terrific block. Stripped away from Jordan.
Oh, nice move by Price.
Armstrong at the other end. 6 points for B.J. Sanders.
Well, too late.
2-on-1, and no one will catch Pippen. Anyone get down the court with less steps than Scottie Pippen? 17 for Pippen, despite some terrific defense by the Cavaliers.
Well, you got to play tough defense to have a shot. You see right here, Scottie Pippen takes a tough shot, misses it. And watch Horace think he has an unobstructed shot, and then Hot Rod blocks the shot. And then Michael tries to take the ball to the basket, and again, letting them play. Official said all ball, and then they push it up to the other end. And then on the other end, Mark Price goes down. Now watch him roll it away. That's great body control to be able to roll it away and get it in the basket by Mark Price with an aggressive take to the basket.
Bob Costas back in New York. On the Prudential Halftime Report, we'll bring you playoff reports on the other conference semifinals. The Spurs bounced back against the Suns earlier today. We'll get highlights and have some reaction. We'll check in on those weary Knicks and Hornets coming off an overtime game on Wednesday in New York and a double overtime game last night in Charlotte. Plus, a report on the Sonics and Rockets. Game 3 tonight in Houston, Seattle leading 2-0. We'll get to all that at halftime, but right now, we head back to Richfield and rejoin Dick Enberg and Quinn Buckner. Dick?
All right, Bob. Well, that sagacious star at Syracuse, Derek Coleman, said if Cleveland can't keep Chicago off the boards, they have no chance. And the Bulls now lead by 1 in the rebounding statistics.
And it was the same thing. It was an advantage for Chicago in both games 1 and game 2 in the rebounding situation. So obviously Derek was on to something, but that's typical in playoff play because shots are so hard to get that you've got to get the rebound so you get extra possessions, extra opportunities to shoot.
Cleveland with its starting unit on the floor. Pippen runs at Doherty, and that frees up Nance.
Out of bounds.
They were going to get the shot off anyway. Good defense by the Bulls. And the Bulls with 3 players, 3 starters in the top 10 based on the voting for the All-NBA defensive team. Horace Grant making the second team at forward. while both Pippen and Jordan on the first team again this year.
And that is by no means a coincidence as to why they're the NBA champions, because that's the number one thing you've got to do, is you've got to defend.
Jordan against Wilkins. And the foul against Wilkins. That's his second.
I don't know how Gerald can not be happy with that, because Michael makes a pretty good move. I think people thought that he couldn't play all of a sudden because he had a bad hand, but he goes up. Now that's 1-2 pushes. I'm not sure what else he wanted to do. Gerald in a little bit of a disbelief on that one.
Less than 4 minutes to go before the intermission. Terrific feed inside the rim. Can't get it off.
That's Larry Nance standing under there. Scott Williams need to take that one up.
Nance, the supreme shot blocker, in fact, the all-time shot blocker among forwards in NBA history since they've been recording that stat. Nearly 2,000 in his career.
Gets up quickly. That's what makes him such an effective shot blocker, in addition to his timing.
Ran out on Wilkins. Cavs by 7. 6 on the shot clock. Doherty has it knocked away by Williams, and there's 4 seconds left.
I'll tell you what the difference is. Stacey King plays you, and he'll play you one way. Scott Williams will play you defensively if you're Brad Doherty, and he'll play you more with quickness where he tries to position you. That's why Brad Doherty didn't get a chance to hold on to that.
Mark Price, boy, he shot that one blindly.
He never saw the basket until at the last moment.
That's talent. 10 for Price.
That's a lot of jump shots for practice, too.
Williams over Doherty. Couple of North Carolina graduates. With 3 minutes to go, and it's batted away by quick hands of Scottie Pippen.
17 seconds.
3 minutes exactly left in the half. A desperation game for Cleveland. Especially after the poor play in Chicago. Highly criticized in the Cleveland press and by the fans.
Oh, good ball movement.
Pippen will get home. Williams follows.
Good ball movement, great defensive play. Staying after.
Cavaliers' biggest lead in this half. A dozen. They're up by 7 now.
You know what they haven't been able to do, though? Is sustain the crowd.
Basket is good, and the Chicago foul on Scott Williams. And Price has come to life in this second quarter.
He is much more aggressive, taking the ball to the basket. The jump shot he's made forces BJ to come out, and then you see Scott Williams get there late, never establishing position. And even a little motion from Mark Price.
He started cold, 0 for the first 3, and he's made his last 6 straight.
Well, I'm sure like Mark Price, like anybody else, at some point when people keep saying that this team has been labeled hairdressers, powder puff, marshmallows, at some point you step up and you bend your back and say, I'm not taking this anymore.
Horace Grant. Good. Shot that he was making in Chicago. DJ tries to check Price, who takes the 3. And now the breakout by Chicago, 4 on 2. Pippen all the way, and blocked by Nance. And Michael Jordan complaining to Joe Forte that they didn't call a foul on Cleveland at midcourt.
It might have been a foul in a lot of other circumstances. You get in the playoffs. Again, you got to earn it. Now, they call this here, but I'm not so sure that some of that was not a little bit of a function of what you're saying. There was a lot of contact early that the officials let go.
Second on Larry Nance. Sends Pippen to the stripe where he's 1 for 2 today. That's his 18th point to lead all scorers. His high this regular season was 39 for the 3-time All-Star. You see his point totals in the playoffs and this series down from his season average, but he's having a big half today, 19.
Interestingly enough, on that break, Michael Jordan was out in front on the wing, and normally Scottie might have considered passing the ball, but because of Michael's hand, Scottie took it to the basket. That's how he got the foul.
Pippen with a rebound. He's played well at both ends. That's no surprise. That's his 5th rebound. Price with a steal. And he's tied up.
He got a timeout. That's a smart play. He went down after everybody thought there was a potential foul. There was no call. Timeout. Now, he'll try to make a play, and all of a sudden, Scottie, he tries to do too much here. He wanted to throw the pass back. Mark Price never left his man, and then Mark tries to push it up. Scott Williams get position. So there's no foul call. And as soon as Mark Price realizes there's none to be called, he gets a timeout to keep away from the potential jump ball.
Coach's son, in fact, his dad, Denny, has coached the collegiate and the pro level, was an assistant with the Phoenix Suns, and was beckoned to Cleveland by Mark to say, help me out. He's the shooting doctor, his dad. Help me out with my shooting. I know I'm in a little bit of a slump. Well, certainly not in this second period. Right tomorrow, the excitement of the NBA playoffs continues here on NBC. We've got another doubleheader for you, New York and Charlotte. How about that game last night? The Knicks and the Hornets into overtime, and that Bumblebee, that little Bumblebee,
hey,
how can you not love him, huh?
Muggsy Bogues, I'm telling you, this guy's got a heart, and he plays. I mean, Alonzo plays with that same kind of strength, but the game before, Muggsy wasn't making those shots. He wasn't taking them, and then he finally started taking them and making them, and that's how they win the game.
Well, Patrick Ewing might question your affection for Bogues. You'll see them matched up again tomorrow, and then Game 4, Phoenix and San Antonio's the Spurs and the Admiral back in the thick after an impressive win today against Sir Charles. That's your lineup tomorrow beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time. Another exciting basketball doubleheader on NBC. 20,000 plus the Richfield Coliseum capacity. They had 15 sellouts this year, their best ever. And they have one more year in this 20-year-old building before they move downtown in 1994. Get a chance later on in the program. We'll show you shots and the architectural rendition of the new facility. But you've got to hand it to Cleveland. This city has been the butt of a lot of jokes, the mistake by the lake, that sort of thing. They are really refurbishing downtown Cleveland. It's going to be exciting to be a Cleveland sports fan in the next couple of years. They're rebuilding, and sports will be a big part of it in the inner city.
Well, they really have rebuilt it. They have a beautiful mall downtown and a hotel, and there'll be a lot of people start attending the games here. You know, I want to talk about the energy. I'm really surprised that these fans haven't been on their feet the entire game. You know, that's what you come when your team gets beat the way that the Cavs got beat in Chicago. That's what you would hope to get. And the Cavaliers, despite that, have still played very well here in the first half.
Minute and a half to go as Price knocks it away, trying to volleyball a bat to Wilkins. 51-43 Cleveland with a minute 20 to go in the half.
You don't make those kind of plays in the playoffs. You don't bat the ball to anybody. You throw it to them.
Ooh, a near steal by Price. Armstrong for three.
That's what happens when you lunge for a pass that you can't get. You leave people open, and BJ makes you pay.
Armstrong, the best in the league percentage-wise from three-point range, and he nails his first.
They're now at 12 seconds, and they're just starting to get into their offense.
Nance with 8. Against Grant. What a matchup. Grant makes the block. And so with 42 seconds left, here comes Jordan. With the Bulls only down by 5, despite Cleveland's playing very well offensively.
Well, they'll try to get 2 shots up here.
Oh, what a pass by Jordan to set up Scott Williams for his 4th point.
Well, that's what I mean. See, they hadn't put the Bulls away. I mean, they had them in good position. And a jump ball, B.J. Armstrong on Mark Price.
Hugh Allen's looking closely at Price with his reaction at the call. And Armstrong really, and he said it before, chatting with him earlier this year, sitting on the bench and watching how Jordan plays defense and Pippen plays defense, he's really picked up his game in that regard.
Well, I'll tell you, you can't get a better teacher than those two guys, but the real value in it is you got your superstars making the effort on the defensive end, and if you do that and you're on the same team, you have no excuses for not doing the same thing.
Good play by Elo, batting away from Jordan. Elo can't hit it, but Wilkins with hustle.
Oh, great.
Oh, my. We've seen some spectacular offensive plays this first half. The Bulls with a final possession, one would think. Down by 5.
Giving it to Scottie.
Grant. Boy, that was a tough shot. He had to control himself flying to the iron.
There's the double team that they've always been having. And that's why they don't get a shot off, because they double-team Mark Price on the defensive half of the half court.
Good news for Cleveland fans. They're up by 3 at the intermission. The bad news is there appear to be times where they might blow this game open in the half. They had a 12-point lead. Stay tuned. NBA Showtime coming up. The Cavaliers in a must-win situation, up by 3.
Dan, thanks a lot. Now to the game in progress. Cleveland, as we said, up by 3, 53-50 after leading by as many as 13 in the second quarter. Mark Price with 15 points, all of them coming in that second period. Now, Michael Jordan at 4 of 9, shot a couple of air balls with the bad wrist. But the good news on the other side, Scottie Pippen, who has been hampered by the sore ankle from time to time late in the season, looking pretty frisky out there with 19 points and 6 boards in the half.
Championship teams like the Bulls on the road want to be tied at the half. The Bulls are basically right there. Cleveland played very well in the first half, keyed by their defense, though, and Chicago's inability after Pippen's early run to get anything going offensively. But when push comes to shove down the stretch here, if Chicago's close, their defense still causes huge problems for Cleveland, because Cleveland doesn't have that one guy who can break down individually a defense like Chicago's, with the exception of Mark Price, but he's not playing that well.
I think we're talking about an element of desperation here. It's like Charles Barkley said in the previous game, you know, they didn't have to win it. The San Antonio Spurs did, and it's the same in this series. The Cavaliers have to win it. The Bulls don't have to win it.
And we'll send it back to Richfield for the second half of the Cavs and Bulls. Cleveland up by 3 at the break. Going back to Dick Enberg and Quinn Buckner right after these messages on your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report. Brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
We're back at the Richfield Coliseum for the second half, with the Cavaliers leading the Chicago Bulls, the defending NBA champions, 53-50. Dick Enberg along with Quinn Buckner. And the perhaps bad news for Cleveland now is that whatever spirit and energy and drive and excitement was built by the fans or by any pep talks before the game, that's all dissipated. And now it's just going to be the second half to see who wins. And for Chicago, they came to town not thinking, oh, well, we can coast now. They'd like to get this over 4 in a row.
Well, I'm sure Chicago would definitely like to get it over 4 in a row, because they'd like to get some time off, hoping that Charlotte pushes New York, and obviously if New York wins that series. But for Chicago, what they were able to do was keep it close and keep the fans out of it. I was wondering when and if the fans were ever going to get into the game, and the way I think they need to be in the game, they're not. But this is where it should be now. The player should decide the game in the second half, and you can't play as much on emotion as you just got to execute and do the right thing. I expect we'll see the Bulls come out, double team a little bit more, try to get the tempo a little more involved to keep Cleveland from being the best passing team that they've been the course of the season. You've got to keep them in different positions further away from the basket.
Well, Mark Price certainly gave them a lift, made 6 in a row in that second quarter as they built the 12-point lead. And for Chicago, as we look at the Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics, Scottie Pippen with a big 19-point first half. Interesting, both teams shooting 50% or better. No one in the playoffs thus far against the Chicago defense has shot 50% in a game. So that's another good sign for the Cavaliers.
Well, it's definitely a good sign for the Cavaliers. The thing that I thought was most interesting is that the Cavaliers have 17 halftime assists. Brad Daugherty obviously being a little bit of a recipient of some of that good play. You see right there his totals in rebounds. But the assist is important for this team because they average 28. They got 20 in one game and 19 in the other game. So they need to have their assists to be able to get Brad Daugherty in the game, get Mark Price the ball where he needs to get it. But it's been the pressure of the Bulls that has not allowed Cleveland to get in position to do that.
And a storm outside the Chicago training areas with assistant Jim Clemens.
Thanks, Dick. I'm here with Chicago assistant Jim Clemens. Jim, it seems that Scottie has really picked up the slack for Michael Jordan, given Michael's wrist injury. Is this something you guys talked about, or something that Pippen just does instinctively?
Well, I think that when one goes down, the other one picks up the baton and keeps going. So we're happy that Scottie's been able to up his game, and BJ's had a fine half also.
Is this more the Cleveland team that you guys expected to see in games 1 and 2?
Well, they changed their lineup on us in the beginning, starting Wilkins, and he had a good first half. But their intensity is up. They know that their back's against the wall, so we've got to come out and match their intensity and their energy. And I think that we're right where we need to be. Question is, can we bring it home?
Okay, thanks a lot. Jim? Dick?
All right, Hannah, Jim Clemens, a former Ohio State Buckeye, and had his best pro year here with the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're ready for the second half. The Cavaliers by 3. Back at the Coliseum, Richfield between Akron and Cleveland. The leading scorers in the first half, Pippen and Jordan for the Bulls, and Price, Wilkins, Nance for Cleveland. Michael took only 9 shots, and that's as he indicated before the game, that he just wouldn't be shooting as much for the man who fired it up there so many more times than anyone in the league, over 2,000 shots regular season.
Well, he didn't have to take that many shots when you get Scottie Pippen playing the way he did, coming out getting 19 points in the first half.
Jordan was 7 seconds on the clock, and he nails it.
Dick, it was no question he was going to take that shot. Right now, he's got it, and he was ready to get it airborne. Not a good sign for Cleveland.
Armstrong, Cartwright, Pippen, Grant, and Jordan, the usual starting 5 for Chicago. Price with the ball with Doherty, Wilkins, Nance, and Elo. Wilkins. Rebound Cartwright, 3-on-2. Armstrong pulls up.
That's what your good defense will give you. That time Michael Jordan made Craig Elo throw a tough shot as B.J. Armstrong tries to make a play and fall with Mark Price. But the Bulls, you can see, came out with a little more fire in their eyes this half, too. They're coming out trying to see can they close this third game out here right in the first 5 minutes or so of the half.
2 quick hoops by Chicago, and they have reclaimed the lead, 54-53. They last led at 8-6 in the opening quarter. Elo. Wilkins partially blocked by Grant. 2-on-1. Armstrong setting up for a 3, but Jordan, yeah, there he is.
Oh, boy. You don't want to make him that one.
3-on-1 now for Cleveland. Wilkins. And Cartwright challenged. That's that no layup playoff rule.
That's the rule. That's his 3rd foul. The rule is very simple. You come into that land of the Giants, I'm going to protect my home. Price wisely gives the ball up early to let Wilkins makes the play. But there's no question right there. Bill Cartwright just being sure that Gerald Wilkins doesn't get the ball in the basket.
Veteran from the University of San Francisco. Big, giant baseball fan is Cartwright. That's why he wears 24. Willie Mays, his and so many others. Hero.
I tell you what, I don't think Bill Cartwright gets nearly enough credit for the defense he plays. He's as good a sound post defensive player that's in the game. He's not going to block a lot of shots. He's going to take up space. He's going to cover you defensively from the backside. When you think you beat, Bill Cartwright's telling you, I got you, forcing baseline, I got your help. That's invaluable when you're trying to win championships.
Gerald Wilkins after his 14th point to give Cleveland the lead. 55-54. The real reaction consistently from these fans is when Jordan gets the ball. They boo.
Got to get out there. He's feeling it. You can see it. When he took that first shot, it looked like Michael Jordan had never had an injury.
Wilkins.
That's the kind of shot they can't afford to take. That's good effort to get it back.
He earned that one. Wilkins hustle gets him the second chance.
He earned it getting it back, but the first shot he took off the semi-break is not one they can afford to take because the Bulls are just too good at getting rebounds and pushing it up.
Cartwright, who rarely shoots, up with the left hand, and it's Jordan missing the tap. No numbers for Elo.
I'm going to tell you what, if I'm Chicago and I come out and play here at the beginning of the second half, the way the Cavs didn't put us away right away, I got to feel we got a shot to win the game. I don't care what happens.
Brad Doherty's had a couple tough ones halfway down the hole and rattling out. 4 for 11 for Doherty. And a reach-in foul on Wilkins, and that'll be his 3rd.
Brad Doherty's just been struggling. He worked so hard to get position again on Bill Cartwright. You see how he rides him a little bit, and then he just gets one that just doesn't go down. I mean, you can't have it any further go down than that, and you saw the reaction, a little bit of frustration on his part, not able to get it down.
Doherty second in the league in field goal percentage behind Savalas of Phoenix. Brad shot over 57% on the year. 10 seconds into Cartwright. Got away with it
travel and scored.
Can't let them earn it. But there's all kind of contact there. A lot of opportunities to make any kind of call.
Each trip they exchange leads. Now Chicago by 1. Doherty gets the shot and the foul.
Double team didn't get there in time. Michael Jordan was trying for the block. The double team that's been effective is the one that doesn't let him turn and face the basket as Cartwright picks up his 4th foul. Now watch. He has a chance to turn that way, turn back, and the double team never gets there, and Michael ends up missing the dunk. That's just a dunk. He missed the block. But that's the point is, if you're going to double team so when he turns away from the basket.
3-point play for Brad Doherty. Cartwright still in there with 4 fouls and no indication from Phil Jackson he's going to make an immediate change. Jordan. Oh, that was Jordan-esque. His airness.
Yeah, I told you, the first shot, you could see it. It was like, oh, this is mine to take now.
Hardly an easy attempt. 16 points now for Michael.
You know what I think happened to him in the first half? He's never had to play, I don't think, quite like with an injury like this. A sprained ankle, yes, but with his hand like that, I don't think so. And I think after he played the first half, he had a feel for how much pain he would be in whatever it is he was going to do. And now he can just play.
Tied at 16, just under 8 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. And it's Wilkins hawking Jordan. Jordan right around him. And overshoots Pippen with a pass.
Michael is feeling it. He gets Gerald right here. And this shot he wouldn't have taken in the first half of the game because he just didn't know if he had a chance of making it. But you can see that when he just raised up and just knocked it right down.
Elo doing a good job freeing from Pippen and then misses the layup. And it's Nance and Grant who will jump it. Craig Elo played for George Raveling at Washington State.
Well, the first thing you got to wonder, where is the help? Because he almost gets to the basket and not contested. You see Grant go after it. And I saw Bill Cartwright standing on the side looking at Michael basically saying, you can't let him get that far down on me because I've got 4 fouls. I can't really help you.
The gray in the beard of Cartwright.
Is that for wisdom?
Pippen with only Price to beat, and Price denies the shot, and Price goes after Pippen.
A little carry. But I'll give him credit because Scottie pushed him in the back, and Mark Price rightfully was not going to go for that. What you'll see is that when Pippen takes the ball, he tried to go up, and Price tried to get, and Pippen pushes him in the back. First of all, this is a pretty good play off the tip. But watch, Pippen wants to do a one hand, and the officials don't see this. Now watch, right here, he got punched in the back.
That was a punch in the back more than a push.
Yeah, that was a little more, that's more like a punch, and the official didn't see it. But for Mark Price, the right thing to do is you cannot let anybody disrespect you that way. And Lenny Wilkins is trying to see, can he get a little more than just a technical foul that's being called here.
Double technical, but on the replay, Pippen should have been ejected.
Yeah, that's a punch. There's no doubt about it.
Well, that has sparked the crowd, and Price not backing off and did a good job defensively denying Pippen.
But Price did the right thing. You don't let it, again, protect the basket.
Well, it may not have been a double technical. It is.
It's a you don't shoot it when you have double technicals. That's why he gets his 2 shots from here.
Missed the shot on the foul by Price on the breakaway. 21 for Pippen, and more importantly for Chicago, fortunate that he's still in the game.
That was his first team second.
If I'm Elo, with Scottie Pippen, with what he just had happen, I try to make him pay. But the officials are going to keep an eye on him.
Wilkins unable to connect, and it's off Grant out of bounds. No, they say last touch by Wilkins.
Now here's where Cleveland has to keep their composure. There's no question about what happened on the play with Pippen and Price, but you got to keep your composure and play solid defense. Don't get taken out of the game. Oh, my goodness.
How long did he stay up there? Here come the Cavs down by 2. 6.5 to go in the third quarter. Turned up the temperature here in Richfield.
They brought a little more fire out.
Grant Doherty ties it with his 14th point.
Now the fans have 2 people to boo. Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan when they touch the ball.
Jordan is 3 for 3 in the second half. And he's fouled by Wilkins. That'll be number 4 on Gerald Wilkins. And with that, a timeout. Here's the play again. Watch Pippen's right hand after the foul by Price to deny the layup, and Pippen, well, his hand was open, but that could have been interpreted as a punch. However, Pippen stays, so does Price.
Well, on the play, the question that was raised is whether or not Scottie Pippen punched him. And as you see right here, Mark Price just tries to keep Scottie from getting to the basket. Now, right after this, what you'll see, what's hard to see, is his hands are open. You can see his fingertips there. There's no question that his fingers are open, and the effort is to make sure 2 things. One, it is to protect himself. The other is to let Mark Price know he thought that foul was too hard. But the officials make a very good call and should be credited because they saw that that was just an aggressive push, not meant to hurt somebody as a punch would do.
Well, we're quick on television, aren't we, with the replays to show the officials' mistakes because often they're critical to the flow of the game. We don't point out the fact that under difficult circumstances, they more often than not, 99% of the time, they're right on the play as they were there.
That's a tough call for officials to have to make that quick, and I'm telling you, they made that one and made it right. So they get a lot of credit for me on that one.
3-on-1 off the turnover, and it's B.J. Armstrong. Little trouble handling the pass. Jordan waits for Cartwright to come down.
Got to take him.
No look pass to Grant.
You got to take him. Michael is standing out there with Larry Nance. There's no way he can guard him, so a double team has to come that left Grant open for the dunk.
Horace Grant with 6 points. 4 assists now for Jordan. Go with his 16 points. The biggest lead for Chicago the entire game is Price goes down looking for the foul. And Doherty.
Oh, that's on the side. That is no way. No way. There was never an attempt to block the ball.
And it is a flagrant foul.
Yeah, there's no way. He never made an attempt. Because Price is on the ground. B.J. Armstrong, who was guarding him, takes off. Now watch. He never makes an attempt to block the ball, and you can see that. And he comes after it, but the real key is the reaction afterwards. See, he knows that the call is being made, and he doesn't make any real complaining reaction afterwards. So he knew that he potentially had gotten himself in position to get a flagrant foul called against him.
Armstrong extends the Bulls' lead to 5. And how about the pass by Michael Jordan, the former Wilmington, North Carolina Little League shortstop star? That was right on the money.
And this is the same guy we were worried about his right hand and whether or not he could flick it down to shoot a shot for about an 85-foot pass.
Plus the no-looker just a moment ago to Horace Grant. Here's that one.
Yeah, right here. He takes Nance off the dribble. And he sees the help coming, and the guy that comes is John Williams, and Grant gets a dunk off of that one.
Well, many thought that Jordan wouldn't play at all. He's only missed 2 minutes, 38 seconds of this game.
I wasn't one that thought he wouldn't play. I knew he'd give it a try. I just didn't know how effective he'd be. But he's still proving he's got that test somewhere hidden.
He dresses in the phone booth. He finds the open man, all-star Pippen. Oh, blocked by Nance. Beautiful play. Cavaliers needed that as Chicago had moved ahead by 5 and looking for more.
And had a clear-cut pass to the basket, so it was a very good defensive play because I was worried about whether or not they were going to keep themselves poised.
his first basket. Nothing wrong with Jordan's legs.
Michael Jordan.
Uh-oh, he's taking Craig Elo on it and leaving a little conversation with him, too.
10 points for Jordan in the quarter after 10 the first half. Price for 3. Oh, yeah. And pulls the Cavs within 2.
Oh, the defense is much more aggressive. They call an offensive foul on B.J. Armstrong because Mark Price was smart, just kept getting in his face, and now the poise of the Bulls is in question when you get a foul like that.
His third, Armstrong. Timeout, Chicago.
And watch, after the play. And yeah, he's being held, but actually I think that's pretty good position on the part of Mark Price.
Just under 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Game 3, the Bulls by 2. Jordan's wrist is okay, his feet are great, and his mouth is working all right as well.
Well, he makes his shot, and this is his third shot he makes. Goes right away, and he's ready to go. And he's letting everybody know it.
Oh, yeah. It's hard, huh?
Yeah, he does. I mean, the heart of a lion. This guy really comes after.
Jaw-jacking is what Sam Perkins calls that.
That's an old term. My father used to use that term. And Dale Garrison is doing a very smart thing here. He's telling B.J. Armstrong and Mark Price to calm down. It's sure there are a lot of emotions. Emotions are a big part of this. But don't let your emotions take over the game.
The game has been tied 6 times, and Cleveland with a chance to make it 7 on this trip. Chicago coming out with a hot hand here in the third quarter.
Oh, there's no way you can block that. 1 second on the shot clock.
And it is tied at 69 with 3.5 to go in the third.
That is job by Price, staying away from the double team. When he sees it coming, he won't go into it. He's managing to stay away from it.
Well, Jordan's tongue is like a barometer, and it's sticking out more and more. And another foul. John Williams second.
And that's after Price gets away from the double team. And right here, Michael was trying to get the block, but Larry Nance is one of the highest jumping guys in the league. You won't get that one.
At the line is Scottie Pippen.
And he can be proud of himself. He's joined Michael Jordan that they boo him and cheer loudly when he misses. I used to always like that. I used to love going into the opponent's arena and being booed. That's when you know you have arrived as a team. And in this case, as an individual, when they start disliking you so much that they boo at you.
22nd point for the star of Central Arkansas. Only 3 points this half.
Yeah, but the 3 points this half is primarily because Michael Jordan's picked it up on the offensive end.
Good D, and Nance just does save the pass.
They got 5 seconds on the shot clock. And then throw it right out of bounds. And that's what good defense will do for you.
Disrupt.
Very disruptive defense. And Brad Daugherty actually is playing a pretty good game. He's got 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. So he was into it pretty good. He just tried to make a difficult pass with some tough defense.
Short that time is Jordan, and Elo with a clear path. Cleveland ahead 71-70.
Smart play by Elo. Run out on Michael Jordan. Whether you think he's going to make or miss it, you force him to think about the shot if he misses it, whether or not he has to get back.
9th lead change in this game. Cartwright. This one you don't use his name and think he's not there. Whoops.
That's why you like the Wiley better. He's just in the right place at the right time. Oh, good move. I can't tell you how good a dribble that was. Mark Price made. Grant stepping out and cutting off.
Price leading the Cavs with 18.
Well, the Bulls got to get careful. Be careful. One of the things that can happen when Michael starts going like this is you start to stand around.
Pippen from outside. Rebound Daugherty. His 9th. Cleveland's biggest lead, second quarter, 12. Bulls up by 5 in this third quarter. There's Pippen forcing the turnover. Jordan all the way with the left hand.
He lulled him to sleep. I thought he was trying to get it to Scottie, but he lulled him to sleep and got to the left hand.
You want to make a trade for him when you're in Dallas. You could probably use it. Out there for Price, and Cartwright with good position. That's another thing you don't notice that he does well. He really moves his man away from the ball and rebounds.
He keeps Brad Daugherty away from offensive rebounds. He's a solid center, and a lot of times in this game, the statistics just don't tell the importance of a player. And Cartwright is one of those players. They got 3 seconds on the shot clock, but he'll get it off. I guarantee you that.
Hit the rim. But violation is called.
Michael Jordan was telling Joe Forty he got hit on the arm, but I'm not so sure he didn't.
So with 36.8 seconds in the quarter, and Phil Jackson over there saying, hey. Of course, as you pointed out last week, that's the place in heavy traffic to follow him on that elbow underneath. It's tougher to see.
Yeah, it is. You try to get it a little bit out of the referee's vision and just give a nice little nudge on that arm.
Stacey King and Scott Williams in for Chicago here in the final minute of the third. Daugherty. That's the basket. And the foul. And that gives Cleveland the lead. 75-74. Unusual timeout.
They pushed the ball up. B.J. Armstrong allowed that to happen because it was his man who set the pick on Daugherty. And now Daugherty finally getting a shot to go in as he struggled the entire game.
Let's go back to that break of Michael Jordan and how he just kind of goes, it looks as if he's going full speed, and then at the last minute has that burst.
He's setting Elo up.
Look at the tongue.
The tongue is out, and when it's wagging like that one.
Could we see that again? That really is a barometer. Look at the tongue of Jordan. The farther out it goes, it almost seems to be a correlation between distance of that tongue and effort.
You know what? That's a comfort zone for him. Because I've asked him about that. His father, James, is the same way. When they are working at something that's a little bit strenuous, but they're comfortable with, they're comfortable for them, they kind of stick their tongue out. And that's when you know he's in that zone. He's feeling good because he knows what the results are going to be. You either got to foul him or he's going to get it in the basket.
You would think, and I used to have the same problem, not that I could compare myself.
Wait a minute.
Anyway,
I used to jump like that.
I did put them on one at a time.
Oh, okay.
That is, but my coach used to say, you're going to bite your tongue off driving to the basket. So I'm a little worried about that because it made me, it threw my game off. I had to keep my mouth shut.
That's how you ended up in this business.
That's right.
Threw your game off. Okay, now I understand. Well, I'd like to see you try making that move.
I'd like to see you try to make that move.
Days long gone.
There are superhumans in this game, and then there's that other position just reserved for Michael Jordan. And we ask her today, how can a man who leads everyone in scoring, a man that the coach is both the best defensive player, not be the most valuable player? Other than the fact people get tired of voting for him. And he took it rather well. He said, you know, I'd like Ewing or Barkley, they're my buddies, the dream team, to make it. He said, but really, Hakeem Olajuwon, based that they're not going to vote me in, said he's the one that he thinks has deserved it this year for his effort.
But, you know, I think, to the point, part of what happens is Michael has set such a standard for his level of play that for the difference from him where his normal level is to an extended level is he's got to go so much further than everybody else. And I would also say that where you're absolutely on target is at some point you just think, isn't it time for somebody else to win this thing?
The old 7-year itch. Daugherty at the line looking for his 17th point. He had 23 in total in the first 2 games.
But he's been a much more effective player for him because now, you know what he's really been able to do? When he's been double teamed, Daugherty's done a better job of getting rid of the ball before the double team can get to him.
Paxson and Armstrong in the backcourt in these final seconds looking for a possible long-range bomb.
They got the shooters in the game.
Armstrong takes it to the hole. And that's
That's the end of 3. The Cleveland Cavaliers, down 2 games in the series, have a 1-point lead at the break. Michael Jordan with a big third quarter for Chicago. 12 minutes that may determine the Cavaliers' destiny in the playoffs. Sellout crowd of 20,273 at the Richfield Coliseum. And the Cleveland Cavaliers with a 1-point lead over the defending champion Chicago Bulls. This arena has been very kind to the home team. They lost only 6 times, 35-6. That was second only to the New York Knicks' 37-4 home record. Michael Jordan on the bench. This is a chance for the Cavs to do some business as Phil Jackson has gone to his bench. Paxson stays in. Scott Williams in there and Trent Tucker.
But they got 5 seconds on the shot clock. You can't keep getting baskets like that, boy. I mean, Larry Nance has to shoot a fadeaway. You got to get into your offense faster.
Stacey King in there as well. So Pippen, the only starter on the floor for Chicago. John Williams, Brad Daugherty, Nance, Elo, and Price for Cleveland.
With a game that can be as emotional as this one for Cleveland, one of the concerns Lenny Wilkins has to have, he's had to play his starters, a majority of the time. When are they going to wear out has to be the real thought that he's thinking about. Where do I give them a break here?
Pippen's path to the goal blocked well, so he dishes off. And the first points of the game for Stacey King.
And he got there easy enough for Lenny Wilkins to start wondering right now, because that's normally a shot clock when you let him go under the rim.
Hands to Williams. Good hustle by the Cavaliers, but King takes it away.
What
a move by Pippen to get the foul from Nance. His third.
Ball is on Larry Nance.
Scottie Pippen right here. It's a little up and under. You see, and then Stacey King gets the ball right here. And then Scottie Pippen, again, being active, forcing the action. There's a switch will come, and Larry Nance will get his, but he never sets up baseline. And he doesn't get the help until too late, and then Larry Nance has to foul.
Yeah, you really, as an outsider, don't appreciate the tremendous talent of this man until he's on the floor without Jordan.
Well, there's no doubt about his talent. The big question mark for Scottie Pippen, and I think in this game it appears that he's starting to realize that the question mark is, will he step up and take it by himself? Because with Michael Jordan as a safety net, there are a number of players on this team that are very good. Scottie Pippen is better because of Michael Jordan. But when Michael doesn't play, Scottie's got to take the weight on the team and carry it through the course of the season. That's when you'll know exactly what his status will be in terms of greatness.
1 out of 2 for Pippen to tie the game at 77, but another chance for the Bulls. Tucker. Scott Williams with John Williams against him, not related. 8 on the shot clock. Danny Ferry into the game for the first time for Cleveland, and he gets a piece of it. 2 seconds.
Got it up.
Hot rod from Mark Price, tied at 77. 10 minutes to go in the game. Nance.
Oh, not a good.
Foul by Pippen. His second.
Larry Nance gets the ball pushed up, and you see Scottie tried the old elbow tap again.
Nance for the three-point play and leads the Cavs with 18. Daugherty and Price with 16. Good balance for Cleveland.
You say, why does Phil Jackson have Michael Jordan on the floor, on the bench? Because if you can keep the game within 5 to 7 points with him on the bench, you know he's capable. If you see one of the better scorers in Stacey King, you know Michael's capable of bringing them back if you keep it down below double digits as he gets close. But he's got to have his legs to be able to do that, so you rest him now.
Well, Wilkins, while using Ferry, that's the 8th man today, and the foul will be on Scott Williams.
Official timeout on the floor.
You get a lot of different people coming at you offensively. No one get positioned in the paint like this. Larry Nance makes that mistake. Stacey King, who prefers to go in the other direction, back to his left hand, comes to a right this time, gets it too easy.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
This Miller moment takes us back to the 1989 postseason to a play simply known in Chicago as the shot.
Puts the shot in the air. Good! The game's over, and the Bulls have won.
In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. We're chuckling at watching Elo fall out of bounds when Jordan went up with that leaping right hand. Elo just fell out of bounds. He didn't want to be anywhere near it. He's tried to destroy all tapes of that shot, but he's been unsuccessful.
I'm going to tell you, if I'm Craig Elo, I'm about sick of seeing that shot.
80-79, Cleveland leads it. 9:19 to go in the fourth. Nance left open by Scott Williams, and the veteran has his 20th point.
He's been able to step up his game because Cleveland has done a better job of being able to find people. As I talked about, 28 assists per game. That led the league, and they've done a better job not only passing the ball, but passing that leads to baskets.
Scottie Pippen pulls the Bulls within one at 82-81. Not quite the defensive unit on the floor for the Bulls. It's got John Williams forcing that shot.
You know what? When he started, it wasn't a force. I'll tell you what happened. As he started to go into a shooting motion, the double team just got there before he could get a reasonable shot up.
Pippen, he's the horse.
Oh, they fell for that?
Stacey King.
Make him make a jump shot.
And Stacey King gives Chicago the lead with his 6th point. 8:05 to go. Ferry steps outside the three-point line. And that hits a tough little 8-footer. Danny Ferry's first points.
Danny Ferry has really struggled since he's been here. One of the things that he can do is he's a decent shooter, but Danny Ferry is a guy that needs to have the ball and let it go through him so he can make decisions. He is not necessarily a finisher, but he can find people.
Good defense by Nance, who's second-team All-NBA defensive forward. With 2 seconds. They're not going to get a shot now.
Nope.
24-second violation, and with a buzzer, here's bad news for Cleveland. Horace Grant and Michael Jordan return.
Well, if he can get Michael Jordan a break, and he got this is about 5 minutes, a little more than 5 minutes. We had 2 timeouts, so he's got an almost 10-minute break sitting over there on the bench. So he's got to be pretty well rested to go this last 7:27.
8 ties in the game, 13 lead changes. Cleveland with a 1-point advantage, 7:20 to go. Good move by Price. Can't hit it.
I'll tell you where Cleveland's going to have a problem. Because I don't know who's going to guard Michael Jordan, but if it's Danny Ferry, there's no way he can do that.
Jordan makes his presence felt immediately.
Yeah, see, they've got a matchup problem on the other end with Danny Ferry and who he's going to guard.
Jordan's 24th point giving the Bulls a lead. Way outside, hot rod. His 4th point. Lead continues to swing like a hammer.
Yeah, but this is playoff basketball. When you get it moving like this, they got Elo on Jordan.
And to Paxson. Michael with 10. Three-pointer.
Oh, I heard it feeling good. Danny Ferry's got Trent Tucker.
That'll be on Paxson. He moved into Price. Timeout.
Michael Jordan getting the ball. This is the first shot he takes off the bench, and you tell everybody else, don't take a shot off the bench. It's Michael Jordan. You take any shot you feel like taking.
Sir. 86-85. In the heart of Cleveland, there's the construction on the new basketball arena and baseball stadium. The stadium further along. It'll be open for the start of next season, 43,000 there, and that is the basketball arena, 21,000 in the heart of downtown Cleveland. And it took out an area that was not very attractive
It'll bring more people into the inner city. We applaud again what they're doing in the city along Lake Erie. Cleveland, meanwhile, time running out. 6 minutes plus with a 1-point lead against the world champions as the Bulls go for the three-peat, and they'd like to make it 3 in a row against the Cavs. Ferry. But John Williams gets the rebound, and then it's knocked away by Jordan.
And bring the ball down against this group. But this kind of game is a little more of what the Cleveland fans and you and I think most of us are accustomed to seeing between the Bulls and the Cavaliers. The two, I hope, were aberration for the Cavaliers fans, because you just can't play that bad and expect to have any chance to win a championship.
Team Cleveland that won the last 3 meetings in the regular season to take the Bulls 3-2. Chance. 3-pointer. And Nance a 4th chance. What a possession. Off the toe of Scottie Pippen.
But let's give them credit. They got to do very good on the rebounds. It's just Danny Ferry coming in on those special aids. If this goes out of bounds here, there's some question of who it went on. But that's after the 3rd rebound. And now Danny Ferry takes a seat, and a well-deserved seat coming in, because I talked about some of the decisions that Lenny Wilkins had to make in terms of giving people a break. Brad Daugherty is coming back in, so he can come back in, so he's giving him a break, and so is Wilkins. So now you've got both of them with a break. You got a chance to make a good run at it.
Stolen by Jordan, who led the league in steals again this year, and it pays off at the other end. Chicago back in front.
Cross-court pass you can't make, as Jordan got this 26-point off of just anticipation.
Leads all scorers. Michael Jordan just 6 under his league-leading average during the regular year.
With a sore wrist, mind you. He wasn't going to play, or if he was, how effective was it going to be?
Wilkins. To B.J. Armstrong. 5 minutes to go. Chicago by 1.
Oh, they got this all the way. They ran that so well, anticipating what was going to happen. Lenny Wilkins has got to figure out a way to slow this down.
Scottie Pippen, NBA All-Star game for him today.
In order to win championship, you got to do a couple things. You got to play smart. You got to get some breaks. Michael Jordan was smart on this one, anticipating the pass. Turned Mark Price around. They did. Michael Jordan, not wanting to injure the wrist, just lays the ball in. But then you've got to run your offense on the other end. They push it up, and they have a play where the forward comes up, and you see Scottie Pippen wide open. Brad Daugherty not able to get there in time. And that's just staying patient, do what you do best. Scottie Pippen, we wondered who was going to be part of the supporting cast to step up. There's no doubt about it. Scottie Pippen has been the man to get the team going in the first part of the game, and then Michael Jordan, who is the man, period, has played a very sound second half. Most of us would say great for everybody else. A typical Michael Jordan second half.
Nance with a quick shot and a hit. Bulls by 1. 22 for Nance to match his number and to lead Cleveland. B.J. Armstrong. D'Lo with the rebound. A chance for the lead for Cleveland. Chicago back quickly on defense.
I got to find Larry Nance, because he's had a pretty good game. If I'm Gerald Wilkins, he's got a mismatch if he can have one with Michael Jordan. And he's trying to look to see can he get it to him.
Wilkins. Nance's hands to Horace Grant. Michael Jordan, who started the game using almost only his left hand on the dribble, but this second half, you'd never know. He was in a cast last night, that wrist.
He had it wrapped up, and he'll do this, and it looks like he's trapped, and then he gets Larry Nance coming forward, and Larry Nance makes the contact.
4th foul on Nance. Bulls by 1. 3:40 to go. Wilkins left his foot, and then Nance picks up his 5th foul, trying to cover.
Has no choice. Because Gerald Wilkins did everything he could. But when Michael makes those first couple jump shots, now you've got to go out and guard him on the perimeter. That's where Gerald Wilkins is. Head and shoulder fake, must stay on your feet. And then you got to foul him, because if he gets that close to the basket, you're lucky if he lays it in. He may dunk it on your head.
5 out of 6 from the line for Jordan.
You see, the help tries to come. It gets there late in Larry Nance, who picked up his 4th foul only moments before, the play before this, picks up his 5th. And he's the shot blocker. He's the guy that's been playing well for them. They cannot afford to lose him and think they have a very good chance of winning this game.
28 for his greatness. 3-point game. And now each possession precious for Cleveland. Hands from outside.
That's why you got to have he's the only guy making outside shots, and it stretches your defense.
24 for Nance.
But they've got to stop the Bulls. And you can't keep letting Michael get shots or the Bulls getting points.
Jordan left alone briefly. Doesn't hit, but look at Pippen up there to give the Bulls another opportunity. Michael calling for the ball.
Oh, he was getting there. There was no doubt he was getting there.
30 points for Michael Jordan.
You got a guy who's making jump shots, you got to go after him. This guy, Brad Daugherty, goes out. There's no way he can get there in time. Michael just explodes, and Daugherty picks up his foul. Daugherty didn't even show it to him. Take it up strong, left on the head.
4th foul on Brad Daugherty, who'll follow Jordan with the Tar Heels at North Carolina. If you can follow a man of that great that stature.
Before we head back to Richfield for the conclusion of the Cavs and Bulls, a reminder about tomorrow's NBA playoff lineup on NBC. Showtime starts things off at 12:30 Eastern. Then we'll take a look at the marketing of the NBA's newest sensation, Shaquille O'Neal. We'll also look at a man considerably smaller than Shaq, the Hornets' Muggsy Bogues. Then the doubleheader starts with Game 4 of the Hornets and Knicks, New York leading 2-1. That's followed by Game 4 of the Suns and Spurs. Phoenix leads that 2-1. Now back to Richfield as we rejoin Dick Enberg and Quinn Buckner.
And Jimmy Jackson, Bob, who is the #1 pick of the Mavericks, had trouble signing him, but finally in camp and has stardom written all over him. At least the man next to me hopes that's the case. He'll be his coach next year.
He's a pretty good player. That's all I can say.
Michael Jordan's 31st point. The Bulls 5-4 with 2:49 to go.
The defense is good. Brad Daugherty is the guy that can get things going from because he's such a good passer.
Driving on Pippen, but he runs into the teeth of that defense. And the Bulls touch it last. 4 seconds on the shot.
The interesting thing with 2:29, 2:30 to go here, this is Danny Ferry who tries to take the ball to the basket. He goes there and you see there's all kind of red shirts around him. You see Grant, Jordan, Pippen going down on the floor fighting for the ball is Danny Ferry. And rightfully, the Cavs get the ball back. But this is a guy that really wasn't given a shot to play with, but he is. He's good enough to get the ball and make other people better.
Armstrong denying the inbound pass. That chews up another second.
What you don't want here, if you're Phil Jackson, is you don't want to foul. You got to find a way, if you can, to pry B.J. Armstrong from Mark Price, because he's the one that, because they'll let you get the ball further away from the basket, and Mark Price is the one that's most apt to get that chance. That's exactly what they tried to do, and the Bulls knew it, and Horace Grant stepped out.
And it went off Price's knee out of bounds. Yeah, you win championships on the defensive end, no matter what the sport may be. And that's why Chicago, and the Knicks for that, and that's why everyone was picking New York as a potential champion.
Because you got to stop people. Like this.
Oh, no! What an attempt, and then Pippen gets it back.
And Michael, no one had him for a second. But he's calling for the ball because this is the time of the game for him. You got 2 minutes to go.
Elo, a good job defensively.
2 minutes, less than 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter.
Jordan blocked. Pippen with 3.
You got to shoot.
2. Armstrong counts if it goes, but it's short.
What do they call? They call a timeout, so there are 2 seconds on the 24-second shot. That's what happened right there. They're going to take a 20. Michael tries to take it to the basket, gets by Elo, and Ferry comes over and helps. And then Michael just creates
How would you
shot.
describe that?
I don't know. Just makes the shot. I mean,
you've got to be brilliant just to get your body in that position to shoot.
Most people can't even think of shots like that. Chicago, because the time clock, the 24-second clock was running down, Chicago took a timeout to try to preserve it.
And now a full timeout with 1:49 left. Chicago the ball and a 4-point edge.
You got to know your people. Scottie Pippen watching right there. He knows when he gets this ball, he's throwing it to Bill Cartwright. You don't want Bill Cartwright to call it to shoot the ball from there, and Scottie is calling a timeout. That is a great play on the part of Scottie Pippen, who's been solid through the game. He throws it here with the 2 seconds on the shot clock, and you know you don't want Bill Cartwright to shoot it. That's when the timeout was called.
2 seconds. 2 seconds for the Bulls to launch one. And it's Horace Grant.
And you hit the rim, that's the key.
Doherty with the rebound. Here come the Cavaliers down by 4. 1:40 to go. No team has ever rallied from 0-3 in the NBA playoffs. Williams, Doherty gets it back.
And they let Cartwright playing one-on-one. And then Scottie goes, find Nance.
Losing some time, 1:25. Price knocked away by Cartwright.
And a free layup here.
Pippen and Nance fouls him.
Was supposed to be in free.
That was his 6th, Larry Nance, and he's out of the game. With 24 points, he led the Cavaliers.
You're talking about a swarming defense. The Bulls brought their swarming defense here. Mark Price had tried to jump in the air and make a play. You shouldn't leave your feet. He tried to jam. Michael Jordan gets the ball, throws it up, and Scottie Pippen looks up, tries to find it, gets it, and fouling out was Larry Nance on that play.
I think Jordan could have been a good quarterback. I mean, even his throws are right on the money.
I think Jordan could have been anything he wanted to be. He was actually a baseball player, and that didn't work out because the pants were too short, so he quit baseball to become a basketball player.
The looks, he grew so fast, he looked bad in his baseball pants and didn't want to go out because he was embarrassed by his appearance. That was basketball's great fortune.
Pippen gets 1 out of 2, so it's going to take 2 possessions for Cleveland, and they're 5 points down as we approach the 1-minute mark. Price could be the man. Wilkins for 3.
They got all the time they need. It's just that ball goes up. The only guy that was able to get a shot at the rebound is Hot Rod Hundley. Now you're in trouble because you're playing catch-up, and Michael Jordan's going to keep the ball in his hands as much as he can.
It's a tough rebound for Hundley because he's out in Salt Lake City.
Hot Rod Hundley. Hot Rod Williams. Thank you very much.
But he appreciates the call. You've been away from New York too long already.
No, actually, I don't know about that. But he, reaches in and get this foul. This team, this Cleveland team, I've got to tell you, I don't think they won't win this, obviously. This team, as you see it, will probably not be together next year because you got to look at their team. Their team in Cleveland that has, you look at Larry Nance, at the front line is 34. Pregame is a free agent. And then Mike Saunders is 33, 34 years old. So you've got to start looking at making some moves there.
And even some thoughts about Lenny Wilkins. There was rumors, you heard him today on NBC. One thing you won't see tonight on the return of TV-censored bloopers is Hot Rod Hundley over 50. Rebound the ball shot in Cleveland while he sits at home in Salt Lake City. But do watch. And then there's Empty Nest and Mad About You and Sisters are lined up on NBC tonight.
Yes, you won't see him. That's good.
It's a night of laughs here on NBC, and that always does any soul good. But for Cleveland, it's going to be tough to smile unless they pull off a miracle. They need 6 points to tie in the final 48 seconds.
Got 3-point shooters that they can put on the perimeter.
And against the defense, it just seems to be everything.
With the guys, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Horace Grant, they've got 3 of the best in the league at playing passing lanes, which will make it that much more difficult. And they close on you. They can be 6 feet off you and close and put pressure on your shot before you can get a good look at the basket.
31.9 seconds. This crowd has already left for home. Unbelievable. Wilkins has it taken away by Cartwright. Cartwright has really played well as the defensive end.
He's been solid, but they didn't come believing because I don't believe that the Cleveland Cavaliers believe they could beat the Chicago Bulls this year. They just didn't. They didn't play with the kind of intent you got to have to beat a team like this.
A foul by Wilkins, so Michael says, okay, we'll just run out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Foul.
Use all 24.
Get the rebound. Why did I foul the guy?
That's going to be it. Chicago is the first visiting team to win in this second round of the playoffs. And the Michael Jordan-led Bulls have now won 7 in a row. 2 last year, then 3 straight against, well, make that 8 in a row, and now 3 straight against Cleveland, 96-90, in a performance that just again raises all the more the spectacular talent of Michael Jordan, who's with Hannah Storm.
Michael, you certainly came out very aggressively in the third quarter. You had 12 points. How was the wrist feeling at that time?
Well, it was loosened up after the first half. You know, I really couldn't get a fling on my jump shot. I was more or less pushing it. And Doc saw it, and he said, just go ahead and try to shoot it and let it fling. So I did it. It was a little pain, but you know, I started making my jump shots, which was very important.
Was there a sense with the injury that you wanted to wrap this series up as quickly as possible so that you could rest the wrist?
As quickly as possible, because the rest can you know, really help my wrist a lot. Even though you know, we wrap it up on Monday, we got until next Sunday before we have to play again, so I can use the West.
Michael, so many people anticipated when you lost home court advantage that this would be a tough series for the Bulls. Did people underestimate Chicago?
Well, I mean, with the way we played through the season, I can understand that, but you know, we believed in ourselves. That's all that matters. I mean, predictions are predictions. You know, actual facts is when you go out there and lay it on the basketball court and see what happens.
Okay, Michael, good luck Monday night.
Thanks.
Rest that wrist. Dick?
Jordan and the Bulls go for the three-peat. He had 32 today. The final score, Chicago 96, Cleveland 90. For Quinn Buckner and Hannah Storm, I'm Dick Enberg at the Richfield Coliseum, and this has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.